Shadowheart. Mysterious and secretive. If it feels like you didn't get to learn all that much about her, that's because you didn't, and it's more intentional than you might think. Looking back at the lore of the world, learning how Shadowheart operates as a cleric of Shar should be able to tell us about her past and possibly her future. Her biggest secret is also the biggest part of her identity, but more than that, it dictates her way of life.
Secrecy is everything for Shar's children. It is our code, our creed, our shield. I'm not sorry I kept this from you. Not one bit.
That's a line that most of us have come across in-game, and it leads us to learning a core truth about her character. The fact that she lost her memories for the sake of a secret mission to Baldur's Gate. Try as you might, she won't reveal the mission to you no matter what you do. Even when playing as a fellow cleric of Shar, her mission is hidden from us. In general, what we know is that she continually masks her intent when speaking to us, almost mocking us at times. Even in passing conversations, she and the clergy of Shar revel in secrecy. They constantly strive to act in a way that fulfills their deity's love for secrecy. This is the norm for them.
I can't. I literally can't. There's certain things I can't remember right now. Shar's secrets must be preserved above all else. All who worship her know this. I have had certain memories suppressed, voluntarily, so that I can serve Shar without compromising her. If I manage to return to Baldur's Gate and fulfill Shar's mission, then my memories will be restored. Of course, it is an act of faith, not to be undertaken lightly. Shar will reward me when I succeed.
But the real question is, why is she so devoted to Shar that she would willingly give up her memories for some secret mission? It's more than just typical devotion you'd get with the clergy of other faiths. It's guilt, emotional pain, and a debt that will never be repaid. Many know Shar through her nicknames: the Mistress of the Night, the Lady of Loss, Night Singer, or even Dark Lady. Someone who guides those who are lost in the dark and burdened with hidden pains. Shadowheart even sees her as a caring mother, someone who was there for her when no one else was.
She took me in when no one else would. Without her, I wouldn't be alive. She's my mother. She nurtures me, cares for me, loves me. Don't believe the lies the Selûnites tell.
But the thing is, it's all a facade. A mask to hide the truth that she is a twisted and perverse goddess, a being of ineffable evil filled with endless petty hatred and jealousy. She rules over the hidden and unforgotten pains of the soul, the bitterness one can cultivate alone in the dark, and quiet revenge for any reason, no matter how small. She is venerated by beings who are grieving from loss, people who wish to forget, and by those who are just purely bitter. So why would someone like Shadowheart see her as a caring mother? Because she can make people forget, she can make the pain go away, and she can do whatever a sorrowed soul needs in order to gain another follower. Whether it was a few years ago or a number of decades past, sometime prior to her indoctrination into the Sharan clergy, something happened to fill her with great sorrow, emotional pain that she couldn't bear. Half-elves can live up to roughly 180 years old, and Shadowheart is still fairly young, probably somewhere between the ages of 20 and 50. My assumption is that she suffered a great loss at an impressionable age. Most likely her parents or a guardian was lost to some tragedy. Coupling this with the fact that half-elves traditionally have trouble fitting in wherever they go, Shar would see Shadowheart as an easy recruit into her clergy. But the sad truth in these situations is that Shar doesn't take away the pain in the way that you'd want. All she really does is make you get used to it, as if it's only natural to feel that way all the time. And even then, she only does this for her most devoted followers, ensnaring any who would want so desperately to remove their emotional burdens. But despite all that, Shadowheart is rightfully old enough to start questioning everything. There are a number of instances where she finds her current thoughts and feelings to be strange to herself, the chief one being that she actually cares about what happens to the tieflings. Even when you side with the goblins and kill the grove, she rightfully is acting within the confines of her church's dogma, and yet becomes extremely distraught over what she's done. Shar promotes general lawlessness and strife, as well as being worshipped by some groups of goblinkin. Although this particular group worships the one known as the Absolute, it's well within reason for someone like Shadowheart to aid them and then move on. Shar and clergy usually operate alone. On one hand, you can claim it's for the sake of secrecy. On the other, you can claim it's to keep them in their place. Shadowheart and the Sharan clergy are forbidden from bettering their lives, and in general can't plan ahead unless it's something done for and approved by the church. She's not even allowed to follow any promises of success or anything that would give hope. Bit by bit, I think Shadowheart is starting to realize life could be better. Something that she never would have even considered if she was still traveling alone and far away from the tadpole issue. If you find the right dialogue and read between the lines, you can see that she actually likes us, and that she is actually a good person. Shadowheart has significant reactions to most of the stuff we do, revealing bit by bit who she really is. If you choose to be an evil group and kill all the tieflings, she will drown her sorrows in alcohol, feeling guilty over what she's done despite it being in the best interest for her church. A path like this would have her continue to pray to Shar to take away her pain, and continue in her service as a way to keep herself safe. Or, if you choose to be a righteous group, save the tieflings and possibly a handful of other good deeds, Shadowheart will seem to find these deeds personally rewarding. She would rather shrug off her clerical duties, have a fun night with the people she saved, and pray for obligatory forgiveness the next day.
You know who I never thought I'd find myself caring for? Exactly right. Never gave them much thought. Certainly not that bunch in the grove. Yet we came through for them. We saved their lives. Odd. Something like that. I was taught to reject anything that distracted from Shah. But there'll be time for penance later.
And before I wrap this up, I also want to point out a few interesting things that I found. According to the lore, within the church, when it comes to their wardrobes, women with jet black hair are seen as symbols of Shar's beauty, and are meant to leave their hair unrestrained and long. Although it probably doesn't mean much, I thought Shadowheart's choice of hair tie seemed relatively interesting with this in mind. Almost as if, symbolically, she herself is being restrained. When coming upon the Justicar helmet and defaced Tulina statue, Shadowheart doesn't find this odd, and becomes hopeful that her clerical kin are nearby. A part of their church's dogma is to destroy anything involving Selûne if discovered, and only if it's realistically achievable for them. Although her hopes are understandable, things like this are routine for them, and the group is most likely gone from the area. If you deny her from joining your party at the start of the game, you will find her again at the Druid Grove. And later on, if she still hasn't joined your party, she will find you at your camp late one night, half crazy hearing voices in her head that seemingly led her to you. Unable to think straight, she ends up thinking that killing you is the only way to make the voices go away. If you successfully talk her down, she'll collapse from exhaustion and wake up back to normal the next day. When it comes down to it, I believe some tragedy took Shadowheart away from a normal life at a very young age, and was eventually saved by either the Sharan Church or by Shar herself. Being indoctrinated at that young age would be ideal to mold her into an obedient follower, and following the church's teachings would definitely keep her in that same mindset to be manipulated for the sake of the church. After all, acting through manipulation and furthering the power of the priesthood are common practices for all of Shar's followers. But as it is, whether you want to call it fate, destiny, or the manipulations of another god, Shadowheart has found her way to multiple new allies, people of different creeds and backgrounds, people she can count on. She is no longer alone, and is no longer blinded by the ways of her church. A new path has opened up for her. Now all we can do is wait to see if she takes it. Thank you for listening, everyone. If you enjoyed this video, please remember to click the like button and sub to the channel. If you have any other ideas about Shadowheart, drop a comment down below. I'd love to see your thoughts on the matter. Until next time, stay safe out there.
Bloody doors!